So I'm putting together this video because I've spent the better part of 3 years digging through the weeds to find all the information. All the links are going to be in the comments section. I'm not going to go before when Dr. Burba was appointed the CEO of International Battery Metals. So if you want to see before then, check the links and you can follow it along. I'm also not going to go down the long road of all the private placements that have been placed in the company. I will hit the highlights such as oilfield brines, which we haven't heard anything of lately other than tying directly to a lawsuit from 2 former employees that were acquired during the transition of Dr. Burba becoming president. That lawsuit involves this lady and Mark Privatera. Hopefully this saves you a lot of heartache and pain trying to find all the information, because they are tied to a lot of private companies and have a lot of private investors, which made the past 3 years fun and difficult. Basically from the year 2018 until now, it's been nothing but private placements and updates on the engineering, design, and construction of that modular mobile unit that we are all so looking forward to seeing this year, hopefully sooner than later. Background of the company: they are privately funded through Sorcia Group, which consists of Sorcia, which operates in Chile, and Insorcia, which is the parent company. I will highlight this entire news article as you should read it. We'll talk about this later. This is the Insorcia Argentina LLC, where International Battery Metals will license that technology, and we'll hit that later, as the most recent few months has given us a lot of news that we are not used to receiving as long-term shareholders. Once again, we'll actually dive into the demonstration. Basically nothing really happened from 2018 to 2021. More private placements, more funding, RNDI, which is what we'll talk about later. Proceeds, private placement. Here we go. Everything we dug on this came up to dry hole. Basically, we couldn't find anything on who owns it. However, they own a significant portion of International Battery Metals, along with Insorcia, Integra Lithium as well. Proceeds, warrants, all private, getting them the funding they needed due to the cost of the unit, which is right around 4 million, 4.5 right now, if my memory serves me right. However, COVID setbacks put us behind about a year on our timeline. And that timeline was based off of the April 21 update on International Battery Metals website. A couple of large additions right here. Advisory board. Both of their profiles are on their International Batteries website anyway. RJR Solar, haven't heard any word on that as far as any studies. We've expanded it, and I believe it's at 9,000. Yeah, there it is. As we approach 2021, as you guys can see, larger pieces of news start coming out. This will come into play later when I address some other issues. Right now, the valuation, or whatever Dr. Burba has prescribed Piper and Sandler to do, we're all waiting for. Very excited. Piper Sandler's engaged. Obviously, you can line that up with what the share price did. All doesn't matter for long term, as we are all waiting on the extraction. Whether it's in Chile or Argentina, whichever happens first, doesn't matter. Projected to be 2022. And the doozy. So, most recent news directly from International Battery Metals has it joint venture. We'll expand on that from some of the rabbits that we chased down their holes. So, beautiful news. The reason I pulled up this resources under their investor section is because this is how you find all their filings, CR filings. The only thing I wanted to bring up of note is advertising and promotion. It's the most money spent in the 3+ years that I've held this was during this year. So it seems that the milestones are getting closer and closer to be finished. Very interesting. Definitely stay tuned if you're not already holding. Here is the joint venture on the International Battery Metals announcement. Okay, Argentina, that many acres. This is what we'll be talking about later. So far, we've not really found any other studies to come out of Antofalla. However, because it's in the location, I'm sure that where they are is not going to be bad. For you numbers crunchers out there, there's something to look at. All this is on their website. I'm just pointing you to the information that's available, and then I'll start getting into the weeds on what we dug for. Insorcia, right? Insorcia. Still don't even know how to pronounce it because it's never been said to me out loud. However, November 15th, 2021, I was jumping for joy to hear that there was a partnership. Call it an offtake, call it whatever you will. TBR, didn't know who they were. After some wavetop research, it seems like the company's been struggling to stay afloat. Now they found some financing to happen, which we'll get into later. But through Insorcia, the private company that we are unable to value. However, TBR, electronic vehicles, the Brits know them pretty well, I guess. They're V8s. Sorcia, there's their website. Every single one of these links are going to be provided. It goes into the weeds about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not so much ugly because obviously you're trying to promote. They do give us a beautiful photo of what's to be. As far as finding exact numbers, good luck. I spent 3 years trying to find numbers from the demonstration, which we'll bring up in a couple minutes. Haven't found any of the numbers. They have some arbitrary numbers floating around here. I've seen anywhere from 99.9% through 99.99% able to recover of the lithium, and it should be expected with the godfather of lithium, Dr. John Burba, who created the direct lithium extraction process, which is currently and has been currently used since 1990s. He developed it in FMC, only to be later turned into Livent or Livent, which is still being used today. All that information is on their website. Dr. Burba's background can speak for himself, as well as his patent directory, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Here's a bit of information that took a while to dig deep. EAL, right? We're going back to that EAL. So I provided the website on the link section. However, we've heard nothing else back about this, even though they've promoted it, right? So a lot of trust is going into both Dr. Burba and the private companies that have been working in the background since 2016 to get these things going, which I have zero fear as an investor because everything they've said has come to fruition. Here's the live demonstration. All right, what's key to note here is they conducted this live demonstration in front of Chilean and Argentinian stakeholders. It was a successful demonstration, which has continued to hold its truth to date, and this was done in 2018. Something significant to consider when looking at all the different junior companies is time to market. So a majority of all of the juniors are working on their demonstrations or trying to build their pilot plants. Well, this demonstration unit was a pilot plant, which was done in 2018, right? So first of the fight, basically, as it comes to DLE. Basically along the same standardized timeline as standard lithium, SLI, another one of my favorite. As it sits, because SLI has shown what their equipment looks like, and they're currently pumping, their share price is reflecting. They also have marketing and the exposure, which is good and bad, coming from an international battery metals holder. Because they've been quiet since 2018, it's a strength. Also, it's a weakness if you're looking for a quick get-rich scheme, if you would. But the long-term investors have been greatly rewarded holding what we have, and the small group of investors that are still on board, very small, we're holding very much so, looking forward to the rest of 2022. Now we're going to get into INAMI. If anybody's familiar with INAMI, it's the Chilean government saying yes and no, you can or cannot. They are, to my understanding, who allows it to happen. All right. There's another arbitrary number. No idea where they came from. However, it's all we got. More recent news on INAMI is you can check out Lilac being denied by INAMI. This will come into play, I believe, for international battery metals once we get to the RDNI, which ties into the University of Santiago. Boom, RDNI agreement. This is on their website. It still holds its validity to this day. Obviously, there's a lot of Chilean turmoil going on right now in the political environment. As you'll find out here towards the end of this presentation, at least I believe that is a non-factor. Following 3 or 4 slides are all his videos. Most recent, Mackey Research, where he was dubbed the godfather of lithium. Great interviews, great information from the source's mouth. Now enter stage left, the joint venture. Very important things to think about. Lexi was a joint venture with Triangle, and International Battery Metals with Sorcia Group. Now, what's interesting here is the date on when Lexi became a joint venture with Global Oil Management Group. Well, due to technical difficulties, this page does not want to work for me. However, it is available on open source, which you can easily find. Welcome to Integra Lithium. Not a word back other than they are shareholders with a significant volume of property in brines in Argentina. RJR Lithium, welcome to their page. They will show you all of what they are working on, including International Battery Metals project. Welcome to 3 years of figuring out who's funding International Battery Metals. Huge. We had our hunches, and with the joint venture, this is now confirmed. It is a very exciting time. I hope that answers any questions. All the links are there. We'll also provide a link to the Discord, valid for 7 days. I don't know how to make it so it goes more than 7 days. However, I hope this answers any of your questions. I'm sure there's tons of information that has been left out. However, it's what we have as a shareholder through, we'll call it droughts, for periods of 6 months to a year of not having any information other than the unit being continued to be built and the funding that was going along with it privately. It's exciting times with the information that we're getting now.